So the car is at Freed. I'm on my way to get it right now. There's some good news and some bad news. The good news is the car is still in one piece, and the downpipe, the mid-pipe's done. I had a few other things added to it, and you know, I'm pretty happy with the work that's done on the car so far. Bad news is we won't be able to turn that up on ethanol today because my ethanol content sensor seems to be reading wrong. It's reading that I have 30% ethanol when there is no ethanol in the tank. So therefore, it's not reading right. You can't depend on that. You can't rely on that information to tune the car with. So I got to get another sensor. I actually do have one, but mine is actually under the intake manifold. So you have to take the manifold off to get the sensor off and undo some fuel lines and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to have them do all that work. It's shit placement of it, but I just didn't see it as being something that was going to take a shit so soon. And my man forgot to shut his gas cap. But yeah, so the ethanol content sensor isn't reading properly. So we're just going to do a 93 tune today. So I actually have a running driving car, and I'll have to bring it back at a later date so we can do the ethanol tune. So it sucks, you know, because I really wanted to get the car running good and it's completely tuned today. But, you know, it is what it is. Maybe I'll drive the car a little bit and come back in 2 weeks, and maybe it'll give me a chance to get comfortable with the car at the new power level. So, with that being said, as far as numbers and what it should make, I am hoping for 600 plus on pump gas, on 93 octane. It comes down to a lot of it comes down to your setup. You know, what cam you have, what intake manifold you have, what head setup you have. All that comes into play because 2JZs generally don't like pump gas and they don't make that great of power on pump gas. But regardless, I'm still shooting for 600 plus. If I can make 6 to 650, I'd be happy. And then the rest of it we'll make on ethanol, obviously. But like I said, I'm still happy with, you know, the progress we've made so far. Some progress is better than no progress, so I gotta, you know, remind myself so I can stay positive, stay happy. I didn't realize I forgot you guys. There's the car. Some free goodies right there. The new downpipe. Sucks that it's covered up. But with the Mac valve right there and all the wastegate lines, we just really didn't want to have all that heat going there, so that'll do good. Exhaust looking good. I might mess with the hanger to get it over a little bit more. BTI gauge is all set up. Don't mind the crappy interior. She needs some love. But I'll show you that, guys, when I get home. Because I don't want to get home before it starts to rain or get dark. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right now it made 655 horsepower on 93 with no timing. There's some good numbers. Now obviously dyno to dyno it can vary. But 655, it was 22 pounds. It almost fell. It's 22 pounds of boost, which is a lot for pump gas. They didn't want to put any timing at it, which obvious. That's obvious. But yeah, I'm happy with the pump gas numbers, but we did run into an issue. The fuse for my fuel pump relay seems to be, it's like a little junction box and it seems to be having issues. So my fuel pressure started to drop on the last pull, and that's why they didn't do any more, and we kind of cut it off right there. So it made 655 without even taking it to 8,000 or 9,000 RPM. Not that it would make any power at 9, it'd probably start falling off a little bit after 8. But I think they took it up to about 7,500 RPM. I'll throw a dyno graph in here, so you can see how flat that torque curve is. That's good. That's my thing right there. You can peak all the power you want, but you want that torque curve to stay nice and flat so that car pulls through that entire power band and just keeps making more and more power. So this is, like I said, 22 pounds, no timing, and it's making that much torque. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm definitely happy with the power made on pump. We are gonna obviously turn it down. I think I'm gonna switch to, I'm gonna try to find a different assortment of springs so I can get down to 20 pounds and keep it right there. Because if I'm on 20 pounds on 93, I should be able to crank it up to 37, 38 pounds on ethanol. So that's what we're gonna do. once I get the car home and situated in the garage. So I guess I'll see you guys then. About to head out. All right, it's next day. Ended up raining a lot and getting really dark really quick. But this is one of the issues we had right here. If you look right here, these are the relays for my fuel pumps, and this red wire is where my power comes from the battery. And you tap in right down here like this. So they'll just click in there like that. Oh, that one's not all the way in. There we go. So that one's clicked in like that, and that's where my fused power is for the fuel pump. Now the problem is this right here, ignore this little red wire, this is normally bolted in right there, and it'll send power through here and obviously distribute the power through these 4 channels. Well, the issue is somewhere inside this little box it decided to not have a good connection, I guess, and that's just a result, I guess, of cheap shit, you know. So with that being said, it wasn't getting a good connection, and my pump started to drop voltage, which essentially means my fuel pumps lose fuel pressure. So what we're gonna change to, which I'm not a big fan of, but I mean, this is what I had a while back, but this one looks a little messed up too. So I think I'm gonna order something like this. I guess I have to have one higher than the other one. I don't know how one I have it mounted yet, but this is obviously good for one pump. Let me take this top off. So you see it's got a 30 amp fuse, which is the same as what I'm running here. Actually, I'm running a 25 amp fuse in those. But yeah, as long as the wiring is good for 30 amps, you're good for 30 amps. And yeah, I have one already, so I can wire this in tomorrow or tonight, but I can wire this in and see how it acts, and then I'll just have another one ordered, and then we can wire up the second pump as well. So when we get back, it'll be a simple connection. We won't have this block anymore. Like I said, it kind of sucks because I like the way this looks. I think it looks cleaner, but that's what we're gonna do with that. And moving out to the front, I'll show you guys the other issue that I was talking about. My ethanol sensor, let me get the light. My ethanol sensor, I'm not sure if you guys will even be able to see this plug right there. I'll try to zoom in on it, but that brownish orange plug, it goes into my flex fuel sensor. And I have another one right here. So essentially the one down there is sitting like this. This fitting right here actually goes into this, and then there's another line coming out here, and it's actually the line that comes into the side of the regulator right there. So it's a nice setup, I guess, because it's clean and it's hidden. You don't got a bunch of random stuff under the car. But the problem is servicing it sucks, because now you got to take the entire manifold off to get to it. So having this extra one at home, I wasn't about to just say, yeah, go ahead and put another one in and have them deal with taking all this apart, taking all this off, and then putting in a new flex fuel sensor. So once I get that squared away, I'll be able to turn it up a little bit, obviously get the fuel pump situation sorted, and we should make some good numbers. And the car made 655, like I said earlier, and I'm super happy with that. I'm really happy. It exceeded my expectations. I'm happy with it. Now I'm good to focus on just drivability and ethanol. But just to go over a little bit more, like I said earlier, that's their coolant overflow that they have. This is the one I had before. Don't mind all this mess. This is what I had before. So you look at them, yeah, this one's bigger, but it looks ugly as hell. The mounting tab is super thin. It actually started to bend. You can see where it flaked off the powder coat, and it would hit the harness, and it just didn't sit right. I didn't like it. So but they did that, and then obviously my downpipe midpipe, which I showed earlier. See more right there, it is wrapped because of that MAC valve, but it actually looks like I have more clearance. So the good thing about that is it clears everything better, it bolts up good, and everything's it's just cleaner. New clamps all the way around, and then obviously the Osgiken muffler at the back. But I'll go ahead and start it up so you guys can at least hear what it sounds like. line lock is now set up through the BTI gauge, and then I can also obviously see oil, IAT, fuel pressure, and all that good stuff. Hopefully we can lean it out just a little bit more and get a little bit more chop from the cam. Right now it is at 13.7, 14.0-ish, like that. And I'd prefer to have it a little bit leaner. You can even see it right here in the BTI that it's fluctuating from anywhere from mid-13 to 14.0. But I'm gonna cut that off. So that's pretty cool that we can do all that with the BTI gauge. Definitely simplifies it. Makes the interior look way cleaner. That way you don't have all those gauges and all those different buttons and sensors to control everything as far as boost control, line lock, and seeing everything. So that's where it's at right now. Like I said, I'm definitely happy with the way it's turning out. A slight drawback, but you know, this is what it's about. You know, just building something, and you know, you make mistakes or things don't go right, and you fix that and you learn from it. So I'm not in any way upset at anybody who worked on a car or myself. You know, some of these things are things that I couldn't have planned for, like the ethanol sensor. Sure, if my BTI gauge was calibrated properly, I would have known that it shouldn't read 38% ethanol. But being that I didn't even look into it that far, the car started fine, ran fine. Those flexo sensors usually don't take a crap like that. You know, I didn't really think to check that. That wasn't just something normal. But regardless, now you know to check to see if it reads an ethanol percentage when it shouldn't. And as far as the fuel pump relay, that's also not something, like, it worked fine until I left. But now you know not to use that particular part. It was a part I bought off Amazon, I believe. And it was a very simple piece. But to know that it can have a failure inside and that it failed that quick, it's good to know that I called it now and not later on. Because if I would have called it later on when I was actually running a higher boost level or something and had the car turned up more, losing a pump could have been my entire motor. So I was going to wrap up this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and take care.